For easing of restrictions, we asked our numbers team to take a closer look at the data. About a week ago, we were seeing an upward trend in new cases, but now that section in orange, wait for it, right there, it seems to be leveling back out. We average out the cases, that's the dotted line, to see what Georgia's curve is doing. Right now, it's pretty flat. We also like to check on hospitalizations. Epidemiologists tell us they're a more objective measure of trends. 5 days ago, Georgia hit a low in the number of COVID patients in the hospital at 848. That's in light blue right there. But now we're seeing increases in the total number of people in the hospital at 902. That's about 55 more. And new admissions, those are in the orange bars right there at the bottom. Those are also up by an average of 77 new patients each day. We'll keep tracking the data for you to offer clear perspective on what's happening with the spread of the virus.